What's good, guys? So in this video, we're going to be going over this other guy's video that I think he posted about 2 weeks ago. And it's how he made $100,000 through commissions, okay? And he says how you can too, all right? Now, I wouldn't have such of a problem with this if it was just a video of like how you can do this, whatever, like, whatever. But there is something important to look at in that video, and that's the promise that you will be at a certain level if you follow his steps. And so that is known as scamming. So one thing, his video is very strategic, know that, but it's actually the exact strategy that's been around since online marketing was a thing and people were selling courses. Is it's the step-by-step process of like a basic webinar, which is just a long form of content, a long form of content that is a pitch set up in a way to provide a certain amount of information to sell you a product. I hope I explained that well. But yeah, let's go ahead and check it out. I'll show you real quick what I'm talking about. All right, so here's the video right here. And here's the part where he goes over at this stage you are already at, okay? So this is I'm fairly certain. I mean, I've only been doing marketing for over 7 years. Now I'm not a lawyer though, so I really can't tell you 100%, but I'm fairly certain that, let's say somebody watched this video, paid for his product, did all the steps, and didn't get to this result, they could then sue him. Especially if there was like a no refund policy or the refund policy was sketchy and they didn't get a refund. But even then, I feel like they would still have some sort of case because of this right here. At this stage, you are already at this much. So if you want to do research on, all the gurus that do the same exact strategy to sell people courses in universities and whatever else you want to call it, mentorships, whatever. If you want to do research on that, you'll understand that, or you'll notice that they're very specific with their words and they're very careful with their words. They don't make promises. They don't say that you're going to be able to, or you're going to be at this level, you're going to be making this much. They don't ever say those words, because that is scamming, which is illegal. So can't do that. So I think that right there is just like, he probably should want to take down this video just because of that. But whatever. Now, that aside, I just wanted to go over that real quick. That aside, the video I think is problematic, okay? And the reason why is because it's misleading information. There's a lack of authenticity in it. There's a lack of transparency, and it's not very honest. Okay? So he goes over his whole, you know, goal here is to teach you, right, how you can make 100,000 in Roblox commissions too. And he just gives you really poor advice. I mean, he says to start off working for free, but then later on in the video, he says that you shouldn't work for percentages, and so that kind of contradicts what he's was saying before. And then he also uses like games like Adopt Me and then Blocks Fruits and Evade to like just this. The reason why he's talking about this is to just give you hype, is to just make you be like, oh my god, maybe I could make that much too. Like, oh, there's so much money involved. You know what I'm saying? And he's just using this to hype up. But in reality, what does Blocks Fruits, Evade, um and Adopt Me, which are the number one performing games on the platform, what does that have to do with, as an individual, can I join this community and make money from developing and doing commissions, right? Um, So the question is can you make $100,000 with commissions in this community? Um, I almost want to say no, but you can. I've met people that have made that much. I myself have made more than that through just being able to work on the platform. So I'm not going to say like you can't, but is it realistic? And that's what I don't, that's like one of the main things I don't like about this video is he doesn't talk about the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation is that a large majority of the community is immature and unprofessional. You're going to be dealing, these are the types of people that you're going to have to be filtering out and also dealing with in order to make however much you can make. And then you also have to think about like the once you get established and you're, you know, taking on commissions or whatever, a lot of the pricing is not necessarily fair. I mean, you're going to be working for maybe like less than $10 an hour down to less than $1 an hour. So it's not really realistic or sustainable to just, you know, you could be the hardest worker in the room and not really um, find the ideal commissions that you would, you know, want to get to have that be sustainable for you. However else you want to say it. I do want to go over this comment real quick though. I thought this was pretty goofy. I said that this is terrible advice. These scenarios are far from realistic. He replies, and then this reply can kind of sum up his maturity level, I think, and can kind of show you how egoed out he is. But he says, yet here I am with 5 years of experience and fast exceeded many of these steps I laid out. You are just too lazy to start and have no self-belief. So this right here was, I actually laughed out loud at this comment when I first read it. That was pretty crazy because dude knows nothing about me. That's all I said. Um, and then this right here, look, I'm not going to call this guy a liar. I'm not going to say he didn't make this much. I'm not going to say, you know, I'm not going to say his story or what he's telling you is a lie, right? But my point, part of my point in what I'm talking about is if he did, that's cool for him. Is it realistic for every other hardworking individual out there to really join this community and really grow? No, it's going to be hard work and you're going to have to filter out a lot of BS. And there's not that many opportunities out on the table. There's really not. I mean, he's making it seem like the opportunities are there and you just have to present yourself well. He goes over that a little bit. Um, and you just have to do the work and stuff and blah, blah, blah. But that's not really the case. And I see that a lot of people in this community are actually lucky. I mean, I met somebody that made a tycoon and they're making like, I think it was like over 20K a month. And they were working with several other individuals. So he wasn't pulling all that in just for himself, but made a tycoon, right? All he did was make the tycoon. That's it. He developed the game, put the game out, the game started ranking and it did well, and it grew a player base off that. That's all he did. And so it's like, then he thinks that he knows what he's talking about when it comes to things like marketing. Just because he did that, right? So if you just put out a game out there and it does well on the platform and it just grows, that doesn't mean you necessarily know what you're talking about when it comes to things like a sales funnel or marketing strategy or advertising strategies or strategizing campaigns or social media marketing, right? Because he didn't do any of that. He doesn't know any of that. But just because he has created this tycoon that now exists on the platform and blew up on the platform, or it's doing well on the platform, not necessarily blew up, but you know, just because he did that, he thinks he's in this position of he knows all or he knows more than he does. That's really not the case. And that's what I find like a lot of people in this community are at that point where they've had a certain experience and I guess they think like they don't really understand the experience that they've had and the amount of luck that's been involved. So I think that that is important to think about when joining this community. But he also said with 5 years of experience. So I thought that was kind of silly because he said made over 100,000. So I mean, if you did that within 5 years, then you're making less than a McDonald's worker. So what are we really talking about here? That's like half as much as a McDonald's worker nowadays. Like, so yeah, I thought that was goofy too, but whatever. My whole point in this though, and like why this is like just not a good video and why it's not helpful to the community is because it's not preparing you guys to be successful. It's not preparing you guys to understand what it takes to grow a game. I mean, also the platform is changing. There's companies that invest millions of dollars into designing and building their own games and marketing their own games, and they're failing. So, like, you do want to take that into consideration. If they're failing, how can you succeed, right? So it's not just like some cookie cutter strategy. Like, this is going to take work, and anyone that joins should be aware of that. They should be aware of the floozy amount of floozy people in the community. They should be aware of like realistically the amount of opportunities that are available in the community. They should be aware of the platform and its current state, the current state of the platform, not just the current state of blocks, fruits, of AIDS, and adopt me. You know, so these are stuff that I would encourage people to think about. And yeah, maybe I'll go through this real quick just to show you guys what I'm talking about. So he starts off with the hype. He starts off with the what he's going to teach you, right? He goes over what he's going to teach you, has some buzzwords, talks some money, how to do this, how to do that, hypes up how much these games are making, throws out these big freaking numbers. He even at one point in the video talks about making $100,000 a month just off commissions. I'm sorry, but if you're like the best programmer ever, there's no way you're making $100,000 a month freelancing on Roblox. It's not happening. Like, you don't even have that much time, okay? So, yeah. But anyways, like maybe if you got a percentage of the game and that game did very 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 well, was making like millions of dollars and you got a percentage of that, then sure, okay. But that does that sound realistic? It's not very realistic. And just being able to find somebody to work with that is mature and professional, that you guys can agree to disagree with, or you can do your tasks and they're going to pay you for them, that is like the ideal situation, right? That's the ideal commission, and it's not going to happen. It's not going. Let me not say that, but let me say that it's the opportunities are low in numbers. Okay, it's not like there's a ton of these opportunities just on the table. All right. But yeah, so anyways, he goes over here, he hypes you up, talks about cars, money, blah blah blah, shows you pictures of himself and his background, whatever. Like, we got some Instagram looking pictures here. And then this is when he goes over the strategy. He says work for free, which is, in this community, I would strongly discourage this. Do not work for free in this community unless it's for a family member or a friend. Just don't. Save yourself the drama and the trouble that this is going to be, especially in this community. And then he talks about transition into commissions. Okay. He's talking about the commission types. And then he says, make a website, transition into e-commerce store packs. He's kind of going all over the place here. There's no real structure. I mean, there's a structure of this video. Generally, I mean, he's just using the strategy, like the webinar strategy I was telling you about, but there's no structure in what he's telling you to do. There's no like focus in what he's telling you to do. He's just kind of throwing information out here. Like, start transition into e-commerce store packs. Like, yeah, let me set up a pack and market my packs, which is just like, I'm sorry, but I don't believe that you're going to be making a ton of money off of just selling packs, right? Like, you'd have to build an influence. You'd have to drive traffic. That's an important thing, to drive traffic to be able to get these sales, right? But he's telling you to like throw up a website, whatever. What is this? Transition into giveaways, tutorials, build a community. Gain a giant audience, gain a giant audience. And he's like, dude, he's going nonchalantly about like all this, like it's easy and anybody can do it or whatever. Like he's not even really telling you and being authentic about the hard work it takes and the trials you're going to have to face. Anyways, then he goes on about this. This is, I find ridiculous. And this is the only thing good that I think he said in the video, which was providing value. But again, it's like the information is so poorly put together and a lot of it's misleading and there's such a lack of authenticity that it just is like, it's like whatever, you know, like nobody's going to learn like, oh, I need to provide value to others in order to receive or gain something in return. So yeah. And then he says posting shorts, posting long form content, whatever, like cool and all, but it's like whatever. So we just went through his like step by step and it was kind of all over the place, really no structure to it. And then he says, at this stage, you're already at 5 to 10K per month. I mean, it's just, it's not going to happen. It might, like, it's possible. But it's like, bro, the way he put this together, man. And it's this right here is like, dude, you're really tripping with this. Like, you need to take this out. You need to block this part out, edit this part out of the video, dude. Because this is going to be a problem for you. If I'm a customer and I feel fucked over, I can lead back to this. And it's going to fuck you over, dude. I'm telling you. It's crazy. Anyways, so we keep going. He says something about working for equity. And he says like 5 to 8% of the project is equity. That's crazy. He also, when he talks about this stuff, he's not talking about how to protect yourself in these types of deals. He's not talking about getting like contracts to protect yourself in this type of situation so people can't scam you over, which is honestly all over this community. It's filled with it just because of the type of individuals that are in this community. So you just got to be aware of these things. And he doesn't really talk about them. He just kind of says, do this, do that. And he says, you'll get here. And it's just like, bruh, what is this? I didn't even, okay. Anyways, so what is this? Congrats, you just made 100M a year. Oh. Bro, it's so dumb, bro. Like, I'm really done with it. But this is crazy. I didn't even see this part, bro. Like, that is crazy. But keep in mind, I make a pretty good income myself, and that are actually bailing. But I do know people who actually did research. That's if you reach this actual point. I myself still push towards this. And it's like, bro, keep in mind, guys, I'm gonna just keep in mind, all right? Like I'm playing, I'm not even playing devil's advocate at this point. I'm just putting it on blast, putting this dude on blast. All right. So like, if he's making this much, that's good. Okay. If he's making this much, that's good. Or if he's making this much money that he says he is, right? And that's what he's striving to get to. Why is he spending so much time and stuff like this? Because I mean, dude, like I'm pretty certain that most of this audience are teenagers. I don't know if they're paying for this course or this university that's like, what is it, $20 for tier, $20 for tier 1, $50 for tier 2. But here's the thing, and it's crazy because he titled this section "Surprise for You." Like this is a good thing, which out of the information we've just received and the way it was laid out and the promises we were given, I wouldn't spend minus, I wouldn't be paid to take this. That's crazy, bro. But yeah, this is like the strategy. This is what he's really doing in this video, is just kind of wanting to hype you up and sell you on this university, this course. And he thinks what he's doing here is, I don't even know if he thinks or believes that he's providing value. I think he's just locked into the like the webinar strategy of getting that sale for this like academy. I think that's what his main focus is. I really don't think he's even concerned with sharing value, because a lot of it, like this whole video, just the way it is like minus value. Like this would lead somebody down a poor path. I feel like. So yeah. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video, guys. I just wanted to kind of talk about that. I think stuff like this is not good for the community. And yeah. But I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.